If you don't take the time to create the life you want, eventually you'll be forced to spend a lot of time dealing with a life you don't want. Life doesn't bloom naturally if we don't sow the seeds. When people hesitate, letting days slip by like sand through their fingers, they think they're resting, but in reality, they're quietly signing a contract with a future full of patches. Not taking time to build the life you want is like leaving a fertile garden. Abandoned weeds will grow faster than flowers. Thorns will overpower the fragrance. Then one day, we'll have to bend down to pull each weed, patch, each crack, wearily battling a reality created by our own indifference. Conversely, every hour invested in dreams is a brick, laid for the foundation of a happy home. Every small effort is a drop of water, nurturing the sprout of future life. Be proactive in choosing the path you take instead of being pushed along by the unconscious flow. When we patiently cultivate today, tomorrow will blossom and bear fruit in peace and freedom. And in the light of that proactivity, people not only live but truly master their own lives with a light smile and a heart full of hope. Do your best until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. Maya Angelou. People don't need to be perfect from the first step, but need sincerity and effort in every moment they have. Doing your best isn't about reaching a dazzling peak, but pouring your whole heart like a blacksmith patiently hammering each blow on raw iron, believing that over time it will become a sharp blade. When we're still unclear, still lacking knowledge, effort is the language of aspiration, clumsy but honest, slow but persistent. Then knowledge comes like dawn, tearing through the fog, showing us a clearer, deeper path. At that point, life no longer requires us to strive with mere strength, but with the subtlety of wisdom and experience. Knowing better to do better is like an artist after many years of practicing strokes, finally painting a vivid picture. With just a few light brushstrokes, be patient with yourself, allow yourself to learn, make mistakes, and grow. Each stage has its own beauty. Yesterday's tender efforts are the solid foundation for tomorrow's excellence. When we live by that spirit, life is no longer a pressured race, but becomes a journey of discovery, full of hope, where every step has meaning, and every day brings us to a better version of ourselves. It is difficulties that will urge you to act. In other words, what blocks the way will become your own path. Marcus Aurelius. Difficulties, often seen as walls blocking the path, are actually secret doors leading us to maturity. When life places rugged obstacles before us, it's not to make us fall, but to force us to step up, climb over, and from there see a broader horizon. Like a stream blocked by a rock doesn't stand still complaining, but curves around, smoothing the stone and creating a clear brook, people also find their strength, right in the moments they seem restrained. What blocks the way, if viewed with fearful eyes, will be a burden, but if viewed with a learning spirit, they turn into steps leading us higher. Each failure is a lesson, each pain is a reminder that we're still living, still moving forward. Difficulties are no longer enemies, but become strict yet fair teachers, forging willpower like fire tempers steel. And right in that process of facing them, the path of life gradually forms, not paved with silk, but laid with sweat, courage, and faith. When we dare to step over obstacles, we realize that the path we've been seeking all along isn't far away, but is born from the very challenges we once wanted to avoid. People don't worry about real problems as much as they're obsessed with personal imaginations about reality. Epictetus, a clear mirror reflecting straight into the human mind, where it's not reality that causes most suffering, but the stories we weave around it ourselves. Life already has real difficulties like unpredictable weather, bumpy roads, or unavoidable challenges, but what tires us most is the storm of imagination raging in our heads. A casual word can be exaggerated into rejection. A small obstacle can be turned into a disaster, like the shadow of a branch under moonlight becoming larger and scarier than itself. The human mind has the ability to paint colorful pictures, but when lacking awareness, it often chooses dark tones. We worry about things that haven't happened, grieve over scenarios that don't exist, and imprison ourselves in an invisible cage created by thoughts. Meanwhile, reality is often much simpler, sometimes harsh, but rarely as cruel as our imagination. We return to the present, learn to see things as they truly are, without adding fears, without inflating risks. When we let go of the tense movies in our heads, life suddenly becomes easier to breathe, like a clear sky after the rain. And in that silence, we realize that peace doesn't come from controlling every situation, but from understanding that most of our worries are just clouds created by our own minds, then dissipating when we choose to look with awareness and trust. When someone tells me no, it doesn't mean I can't do it. It simply means I can't do it with them. Karen E. Quinones Miller. A door closing gently rather than a wall collapsing in front of us. The no that others give often carries a sense of rejection, like a cold wind blowing through fragile confidence, but in truth, it rarely is a verdict on our abilities. It simply reflects the limits, fears, circumstances, or choices of the other person not defining our own value or potential. Like a boat not allowed to dock at a certain riverbank, that doesn't mean the ocean has dried up, but that we need to find another, more open shore. When someone says no, they don't close our dreams. They just close the path of accompanying them on that journey. And sometimes that very separation opens up space for us to meet more suitable people, opportunities more in harmony with our aspirations. Don't let rejection dim your faith. Success isn't a journey everyone agrees on, but a path of persevering forward, even with doors closing behind. When we understand this, each no is no longer a wound, but becomes a silent signpost, leading us to where we truly belong, where dreams have soil to sprout, grow, and shine in the fullest way.
Best quotes of all time, where the greatest quotes on the planet become your superpower.